So a few years ago, I was living in Spain and I went to a local bike park called La Fenesosa where I tested the original Commencal Meta 4. And ever since then I've wanted to get on the newer version of the bike. Well, I've waited and I've waited, and now I've got the 4.2 with 29-inch wheels. So here it is, the Commencal Meta AM 29 SRAM Edition. It's a 29 enduro bike designed for the EWS stages of the World Cup and for riders such as Cecile Ravenel and Johan Barelli to race on. It looks a lot like the 27.5-inch version, and it actually shares the same head tube, shock mount and dropouts. But other than that, everything else has been redesigned to make the most out of these larger wheels. We've got improved suspension kinematics for better pedal efficiency, and we've got reduced pedal kickback as well. The chassis is also stiffer with this seat stay bridge as well. Even inside the frame there are changes to make this a little bit better. We've got improved cable and hose routing, and there's even a piece of foam in the top tube, so when you wash your bike, water doesn't come pouring out here near the shock. Lots of nice little neat changes. On the down tube we've got a down tube protector built in. We've even got this cool little miniature mudguard on the back too. Some really nice little features, and even with a piggyback there's plenty of room here for a bottle cage and a bottle. This being the SRAM edition of the bike, it's been completely built up using a catalogue of SRAM components. So for brakes, we've got Code R 4-pot brakes. The Code R is a really great brake. It's really more of a downhill brake, but obviously enduro riding deserves those really powerful brakes, and the Code R is a great one. We've got a RockShox reverb dropper post. This being a large frame, we've got a 150mm travel dropper on this. If you went for a small or a medium, you get a 125, and if you go for the extra large, you get a 170mm dropper. So, nice little features there, size specific components too. And we even get the 1x remote on here, so it's the more upmarket, the newer remote there for that dropper. Gearing is SRAM GX Eagle, so yeah, not as high spec as XO or XO1, but it still gets the job done, and when you smash that rear mech off, it's going to be a lot cheaper to fix. We've got a SRAM Descendant crank on here, that's the 7K OE spec only crank. We've got a big Eagle cassette on the rear with a 50-tooth cassette, so it doesn't matter how steep the climbs are, you will be getting up them. So the wheels are obviously 29-inch wheels, and they are Spank 350 rims, which are a really good rim. They're not too heavy, they're very strong, and those are laced onto Formula hubs front and rear. And tires are Schwalbe Magic Mary and Hans Dampf on the rear, and that's the Addix compound, so they're super sticky tires, great in all sorts of conditions, mega grippy, and they roll really well as well. The final touches really are this fabric saddle, which is extremely comfortable. Commencal supply their own bar, stem and grips, although I've changed them for my own personal preference because I prefer the red to match the red of the bike. The bars themselves are 780mm wide Commencal Alpha bars, and we've got a 40mm Commencal Alpha stem. The saddle is a fabric saddle, which is super duper comfy and great for all day rides, as well as just mucking about in the woods. I've gone for the size large bike. I measure 178 centimeters, and this large frame's got a reach of 460mm, which is like kind of right in between my sweet spot of 460 to 450mm. The sizing on the Commencal is quite interesting because the medium is much smaller, it's 435, and I think I would have found that too small, so I've gone for this larger frame. But with that long dropper and quite low down seat tube, plenty of standover height for even really steep drops and jumps. So the Commencal Meta SRAM Edition is available now only through Commencal. It costs €3,699, and if that is a little bit too pricey for you, there are models starting from just €2,000, and there are even models which are a little bit more expensive with a coil shock to choose from too. I'll be reviewing this for the next few months, so if you've got any questions about the Commencal Meta AM29 SRAM Edition, please feel free to ask me below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. There. And that's it. Goodbye.